Hey everyone, welcome to LeetCode Programming Solutions. My name is Phani and let's get started. In this video, I'll be talking about the problem triangle minimum path sum. So what's the description? Given a triangle, find the minimum path sum from top to bottom. At each step, you may move to the adjacent numbers on the row below. So what does that mean? Let's take a look at this example here. So we have 4 rows. This is a triangle. At row 0, we have element 2 and we don't have any other number. So we'll have to pick this number. To find the minimum path sum, at row 0, we'll pick 2. At row 1, we have a choice. We can either pick 3 or 4. Since we need to find the minimum path sum, so we'll have to choose 3. At row 2, we have a choice between 6 and 5. 7 is not an option because it's not adjacent to the number that we chose in the previous row. So 7 is not adjacent to 3. Now between 5 and 6, since we need the minimum, it's 5. And similarly, we'll pick 1 from the next row. And here the minimum path sum would be equal to the sum of these numbers, and it's equal to 11. So now, how do we solve this problem? So we'll use dynamic programming to solve this problem. Now let's take a look at the example again. The idea here is pretty simple. We'll start from the row just above the last row. So in this case, it's row 2. We iterate through each of these numbers in this row. So for every number, add the number with the minimum of the 2 numbers just below it. In this case, we'll add 6 with the numbers minimum of 4 and 1, which is 1. So we'll add 6 with 1 and we get 7. Similarly, if you take 5, we'll add 5 with the minimum of 1 and 8. So it's 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. Now we repeat this process by going back to all the rows up until row 0. And we would have found the minimum path at row 0. So whatever value that we get after doing this iterations, so that will be the minimum path. Now, how do we solve it using dynamic programming? So first, we'll make a deep copy of the last row. So we'll call it DP. Now, like I said, we'll start from the row just above the last row. In this case, it's row 2. Now, let's look at the algorithm. So here, we want to calculate the sum of the number with the minimum of the 2 numbers just below it. So triangle of row column gives that number, and minimum of DP of column and column plus 1 gives the numbers just below it. And we'll update this index here after doing this computation. So let's look at a sample run here. Now DP of 0 will be equal to triangle of the second row and this column. So it will be 6 plus minimum of 4 and 1, which is 7. And we'll update this DP with that value. Now let's move to the next column. So we want 5. So we're moving to the next column. Here, triangle of 2, 1 will point to 5, and the numbers just below it is 1 and 8. So minimum of 1 and 8. So in this case, 5 plus 1, it's equal to 6. And we'll update this value here. Similarly, we'll go to the next column, and this is triangle of 2 and 2, which is 7, plus minimum of 8 and 3. In this case, it's 3. So the sum is equal to 10. Now, this got updated. After this, we cannot move to column 3 because if you see in row 2, we have only columns from 0 to 2. So it's 0, 1, and 2. Now we'll move to row 1 and move to column 0. So we'll see the computation again. dp of 0 will be a triangle of 1 0, which is 3 in this case, plus minimum of 7 and 6, which is 6, and we get 9. And we'll move to column 1. Now dp of 1 will be equal to triangle of 1 1, which is 4, plus minimum of 6 and 10, so it's 6, so we get 10. Now after this, here row 1 has two columns, 0 and 1, so we are already at column 1. Now we will move to row 0 and column 0. So here dp of 0 will be equal to triangle of 0 0, which is 2, plus a minimum of 9 and 10, it's 9, so the value is equal to 11, and this get the dp gets updated, and this is the minimum path sum that's required. Now with this understanding, let us write the code. So for this problem, I'm using Python 3 because it's much more succinct. The same algorithm works in Java as well. Okay, so what we want is a variable called dp, and we want to store the last row of the triangle list. So we'll make a deep copy, copy.deep copy of the last row of the triangle, -1, that gives me the last row. Now we want to iterate from the last but one row until row 0. So we'll say row in range, the length of triangle, and then -2 gives me the last but one row. I want to loop until index 0, so I have to give -1 for that because it's exclusive. Um, and since I'm decrementing every time, so I have to decrement by -1, and I have to iterate through for every row. Now I have to iterate through every column. So for column in range of from 0th row until every column in that row. So I have to give row +1 because it's exclusive again. Python's range function. Now what we want is dp of column is min of or we'll do this. We will say triangle of row column. So this is the number that we want to add with the minimum of dp of column and dp of column +1. So this is the previous row. And now let's return this dp of 0, and we'll run the code. So this is working. Okay, so this is working perfectly. Now, before leaving, I want to show something. So if we don't make a deep copy, and then if we just uh, do a shallow copy, right? So if we just do this, what actually happens is before I return it, I'll just do a print of my triangle. So this is my original list, right? So I'll do a print of the triangle and run this code. And what happens is my original triangle list got uh, modified because I didn't do a deep copy. And that's the reason we have to do deep copy. We don't want to change the source. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please do subscribe for more videos. Thank you.